Alright, hello and welcome to today's little episode. What we're doing today, or what I'm doing, is I've got one of these from Duchess of Sutherland, loco. And the problem is the little screw pin that holds the connecting rods on the opposite side, which I've pushed out, is the very small screw, which I will show you. Just got to be careful so I don't lose it. Right, that very small screw that's in my hand, which screws into there, on this side is broken. So the actual screw is broken, and part of the screw is still inside. So what I am going to try and do, because it's very hard to get new ones of these here in Australia, so what I'm going to do, something I haven't done for a long time, is I'm going to try and drill it out with my drills and find the little tap. So what I'm going to do is I'll find the one that fits that. So what I do, this is engineering type stuff. So I've got my vise here. So what I need to do is, I'll show you how it basically works. So this screw goes into there, whoops, when it stays in place. Screws into there, right. So it screws in and it holds the connecting rods in place. Right, and on the screw, on the top of this little piece, it's flat. I've got a piece flat going across this way, and there's a piece on the opposite side, and it's recessed in. I'm not sure whether you can see it or not. You might be able to see that recess there when it's reflecting on it, yep. But also at the back, it is flat. As you can see, there's a flat piece on the side, both sides of that, so that is, and these are very hard to get. I've been looking for one for a couple of weeks now. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and drill, yes that's right, drill that out, and then get a little tap, just one of these that makes the thread, and I'll find the one that fits in there, possibly one of those ones, possibly. And what I'll do is I'll match it. The easiest way to do it is to take this screw here, once I get it out, and you try and match the thread of this with one of the others, because I don't have a small one, but we will see. So first things first is I need to find out how deep the hole is. So I'm just going to use a normal pin, stick it in the hole, and it'll give me an idea of, so the hole's that deep, alright. So that's the first part, and then the next part is, I would say it's that one, I would guess, possibly, and see if that fits in there and threads itself in. Which at the moment it feels like it's doing, so that might be the right one. That could be the one, I think, maybe. It's a bit hard to tell because they're so small. No, it's definitely not that one, because that one slides in on its own. Right, that slides in on its own too far. See, if I pull it out carefully, right, that slides in. So it's definitely not that one. And I don't know if it's a SAE or metric, because I don't have the information. I'm just going to try. No, it doesn't feel like that one's the one. So I think it's that one, because when I wind it in, but because normally you would match the thread for the thread, but because it's so fine, it's a bit hard to tell. But that is spinning in on its own, right? So what I'm going to do is get my text up. And I'm going to put a mark on this. And there. I'm going to spin it out. That'll give me an idea if it's gone that far in. So that far in, I hope you can see, yes, that far in says it's a fair way in. So if I mark this again, I'll push that in. This is the sort of thing engineers do. Right, so I'll mark that, pull that out, and if you have a look, that length of that pin and the length of that is pretty well close, isn't it? So I would say that that is pretty well a good match. And it threads in easily. So the only problem is I can't see what it says. My glasses will not tell me that, what that says. So what I'll do is what I usually do at times when it's hard to read things. I'll show you a little trick that I learnt many years ago. Put it down, work out where the writing is, which is there. A bit of blue tack. There's the writing facing up. Is use your phone, and what you do is you take a photo. So take a photo, then when I look at it, I can scroll in, and you can see, right, if I rotate that round, right, so I do all this and save it. Right, I can now read that that says M1.2 HSS, so it's a 1.2 millimeter high speed steel. So it's a 1.2 millimeter drill thread. Alright? Because these don't tell you, when you buy them, they don't tell you any sizes or anything, which is a pain. But it'd be nice to know which one's which. But so at least I know it's a 1.2. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll leave that out. I'll paste it the opposite way. And then that means, so I will need a 1 millimeter drill bit. So to find my 1 millimeter drill bit, come to this, and my 1 millimeter drill bit is on that listing there, that one there. So when that comes out, that should be 1 millimeter, and I'll get my vernier. Right, so I'll measure this. Oops, I've got to be so careful I don't lose it, because if it hits the floor, I'll never find it. Alright, so 1.18. Now that will sit inside the thread, so So if I go right at the tip, which is before the thread, 0.9. Alright, so we want this 1.1. So 1.1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go smaller. Zero it out, make sure it's at 0. 1.2, so I want smaller than that. It says there. So let me just find the right one. 1 mil should be that one. Always double check. Right, that's 0.96, 0.98. So if I put that in the one that's not broken off, and that slides in easily. Alright. See if you watch, that goes in easily. Right. Goes in that far. Alright. I'll show you. This is why you use textures and things and calipers and stuff, right? So if I bring that out, it shows you that's how far it's gone in. So that's the size drill bit I'm going to use to drill that out. Right. Will that tighten up and hold it or not? Right. I'm not sure if you can see what I'm doing. Kind of. Yes, no, not quite. Alright, so I'm just going to go in with my little hand drill. I'm just going to drill it carefully. Sounds like my hand drill needs a drop of glue, a drop of oil. See, everything needs a drop of oil, even us. Alright, so I'm just going to gently drill this and see if I can get it started, because I want to be sure I get it in the center as I'm drilling it. So I'm watching my vertical, making sure I'm vertically up and down. Need to change it to this one, change the tip over to the very small. See, all of these have extra tips. I don't know if you know, with these. And then there's also another one in the handle with another collet as well. So for even bigger drill bits or screwdriver fittings or whatever you need. So I've had this one for a long time. So change that one over to that. And that's also the thing with these, because they are very small drill bits. You need, and what I will be doing is putting far in that as I can so that it doesn't break off, because that's the last thing we want to do, is break off a drill bit inside this. That would be the last thing that I want, because then I'll definitely be up a shite creek. And the closer you have the drill bit in to where you're drilling, closer is less movement and less chance of the drill bit moving or wobbling. And just check to see if it's cutting anything. Yeah, it is. Very small. Alright. So I'll see if my little battery drill, I don't think it will. I don't think it will hold something that small. I doubt it very much. But we shall see whether I can go that small. Alright, we'll give it a go and see what happens. is cutting. So I'll put a drop of oil in there. I don't have easy outs for something this small, otherwise I would definitely be using an easy out. But now, where's my... So what I'm going to do is I will mark this so I know. So there's that. So I will need to be in, so get it right, need to be in about that far to know that I've got all the way in. It's like putting a piece of tape around your drill bit, whereas this is just a texture mark, but I will know when it's going in that far. Right. And I can see that I'm getting, see all the shavings? So it is drilling it. So we're getting somewhere, which is good. So I'll do this and I'll come back to you when I've done it. I'll just check. Just check with this one. Oh yeah, we're halfway down. So that's good. I'll just check again. Nearly there. Still getting metal, but I'm not getting brass. So what I'm looking for is a change in colour if the bolt's gone all the way down. Because if it's gone all the way, I'll get a different colour. I'll get brass shavings instead of metal instead of stainless. Well, I don't know if it's stainless steel, but I would be hoping that the little bolt is stainless, but we don't know. So the other thing is it would bottom out, so I'm hoping that when I get through this I get a little drop. Alright, so it changed then. Looks like I'm getting brass now by the looks of that. Let's have a look. Alright. I'll just check with that compared to that one. Oops. Very, very close, I would say. Looking at that. And that. Just go a little bit more, just to see. Alright. Not sure, it's a bit hard to tell. Starting to look brassed. Alright. Right, well, so now I've got the tap in and I've got it locked into the jaws in the teeth. So I'm going to now carefully put a drop of oil in there once again. And I can see if I can retap the hole. Which it is doing. Because that, as you can see on that, see, it's now tapping the hole. So because that drill bit was close to the other one, to the other size, all I'm doing is cleaning out the stuff that's in the threads at the moment. What I'm trying to do is clean out the threads. Right, so you can see in there all of that. Right, that's all the threads. I'm just going to go in and out several times. And give it half a turn or turn each time just to see if I can't get it just that little bit more. The part I can't tell is when I'm at the bottom. That's the hardest part. So I have a rough idea of how not far. So you can see now it's got stuff on the actual in. I can see, look, parts now. So if I get that little screw, because I've ordered some in the mail. So little trick, piece of glue tack, and then onto the screwdriver, which will help keep it on the screwdriver, and we'll see if we can screw it in. And there we go. That now screws in, so when I get the new screw, I can put the new fitting on it. Alright. So that is how you drill and tap a hole in a model train float wheel. Model train locomotive wheel. Simple as that. Well, not simple, but so that's why it is handy to have the right tools. So let's just have a look. Spin that on by hand. Spinning it in until I'm spinning it all the way in till I can feel it, this piece, turning in my fingers now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the actual tap. And now I will undo it and we'll see how far in it goes. Alright, goes that far in, so we are going that far in, so that's more than enough. Alright, more than enough for the size of that little back to the depth again. Right, so we're going that far in. So just to check that that's in far enough. See, there we go. Right. And that's still got a point on it, so it's not a flat tip. So it goes in that far. So that's definitely going to the bottom of the hole. So that's what we want. So there you go. It pays when you're doing servicing of locomotives and things like that. It pays to have your own set of tap and dies. So, because then when you get a broken off bolt, all you got to do is like that. You drill it carefully, drill it out, and that will be good to go when I get the screw in the mail next week. So that has saved me for half an hour or so's worth of work that I've just done. Oops, dropped it. Right, I'll use the pliers, it'll be easier. Because you can't get these, that's the problem. And I'll press that in and press that one. So what I will do is when I get the replacement screws, I've ordered the screws so I can get the screws. So when I get the replacement screws, I will be able to put it in and match it up. But for the moment, what I'm going to do, so I know, is I'll mark this one so that when I get the screw in the new one, when I put it in, I know that it's to go in that wheel. So just in case there's an issue, then I will know that it's that. So I should have the new one. Very hard to get, but I should have it sometime next week. So there we go. How do you drill and tap your broken parts? That's how I do it. So there you go. These have just paid for themselves that I bought a couple of months ago. So it's just paid for itself. And all the little drill bits. That has paid for itself also. Get the part in the mail next week. I can and will put that back together. I'll put the blue tack back, didn't I? Yes. So there we go. Just a little something that instead of chasing up, trying to find something that's basically very hard to get. So I've saved myself, but I have been looking around to find parts, but that's another thing in itself, is trying to find parts here in Australia. The only way is to find a second-hand locomotive, but even those, for these, because these were 1977, 1978 and 1979. These were bought out. So 40 years ago plus. There you go. All right. On to something else.